My Swim Pro just passed 2 million downloads. An incredible journey when you consider where we started from.
From a non-technical founder to 2 million downloads. That's impressive. How the heck did he get that done?
This is Raw Startup. 2 million downloads. That's amazing. Like, how did you get here?
Yeah, I'd like to say that we've had an incredible product. At the same time, that alone won't get you 2 million downloads. So I think it's just been a consistent grind. I mean, we launched the app in 2015, and it started out pretty slow. I mean, a few downloads per day, 10 downloads per day, 20.
Classic grind with only a few downloads a day and building it from there. Let's take a closer look at the beginning.
I bought the domain myswimpal.com. It was called MySwimPal before MySwimPro. And I created a landing page, which is the vision of MySwimPro, what it is today. So I had a screen that I created in Photoshop. I had a bunch of stuff that I thought people would want. There was an email capture form on the website. And what I was trying to do is just validate demand, not just, hey, let me capture your email and that's it. So these 200 people or so that put in their email to download this app that didn't even exist yet, they were my first customer discovery, and these were people I had no idea who they were.
This is key here. Faraz found 200 people that had shown some interest in this, and then they helped him figure out what to build. He boiled it down to 4 ideas that he thought might be interesting.
So there are actually 4 ideas that I was really trying to test, and one of them ended up being the most powerful. So, one of them was around training, workouts, and that's essentially what the app is today. Another was around video. It was more focused on technique and that element of training. Another one was more focused on social. So, thinking about the social network of swimming. And those really weren't as important. And then there's another one. But the one that was the most important, which is the centerpiece of what we do today, is how do we deliver a personalized coaching experience for people at a fraction of the cost of actually hiring a coach. So the coach writes the workout for you, and that's what the app does.
So there were 4 ideas, and then he boiled it down to one, the most important thing. If you don't release early, you end up building 4 things. You build 4 things poorly instead of one thing world class.
You got to focus on one thing, because if you try and focus on 7, they're all probably not going to work.
Now you have one thing, it's still an MVP, and you have to release it as an MVP, a minimum viable product. So tell us what the product was like back then.
It was MVP. So, the initial version of the app was very minimal, but I will say it did deliver on some fraction of the value for a subset of the market. And really that's all you actually need. So the app is way better now. I mean, the not just the way it looks, but the way it actually functions, the integrations, it's so much smarter. But at the time when we launched, it was very dumb. But dumb isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's really just simple. And that simplicity actually does add value to a small segment of the population. You can't scale like that, but it's at least a start.
We have the MVP going. Tell us something that didn't go really well in the beginning.
When we first launched the app, it was completely free. And that was probably the biggest mistake that we made, because it took us over a year to actually add a subscription, when in fact, even our MVP was probably good enough to start charging for. So we missed out on a year of learning, all because we didn't think it was good enough. But when you have paying customers, that's when you really get the true validation of the value that you're delivering. So that was a big mistake.
Mistakes happen, but things are starting to go well. The app even gets featured by Apple as App of the Year for the Apple Watch. I guess it was all smooth sailing after that.
After we were named App of the Year by Apple, we get all this PR. If you Google, Apple and MySwimPro, like we pop up, we're in Sports Illustrated. However, immediately after, we ship some not so great software updates that actually break a lot of things. Some of this was our fault, some of it was Apple's fault, but at the end of the day, we have this great product recognition, and then the app doesn't even work. So we're getting all this inflow of downloads and all this recognition, and people are so hyped, and this is like literally the App of the Year on the Apple Watch, and it doesn't work. And so this is really frustrating, and we're scrambling, and we're trying not to repeat this again. And this is just, one of the challenges of software development.
Classic. Yes, this is what happens. Finally, you get a real breakthrough, and something goes wrong. You always have to be ready for an unforeseen event. You can never stop, or as Faraz puts it,
if you stop, kind of like in swimming, if you stop, you sink. So it's kind of like a shark. You got to keep moving or else you die.
Then something happened that could put a stop to everything. Something that could kill the app. COVID happened and most people could not swim anymore.
95% of the world's pools shut down during COVID. And, for some fitness businesses, they actually boomed because people were training at home and, they don't have to go to the gym. So that was a whole thing in itself, but that we didn't benefit from that because people couldn't swim, and you need a pool to use our app.
And it turns out most people cannot swim at home.
So people were canceling their memberships. Our subscriptions were literally falling off a cliff because we had like a year of straight decline. So in the moment, you're kind of panicking because you're trying to think, crap, what am I going to do? I see our revenue literally coming to almost a complete stop. People are not renewing their memberships. And as you know, you need that cash influx of new subscriptions. We're not getting that. People are canceling. So the membership number is going down. The team is kind of freaking out because it's like, wait, does that mean I'm still going to have a job?
This could have killed my swim pro, but Faraz and the team kept going. So how did you dig yourself out of this hole?
What we did is try and stay grounded in, okay, what are we trying to do? We're trying to deliver value for a specific community of swimmers. So what can we do during COVID when the pool is closed to continue to show value to these people? So we pivoted in the app, we created new features, things that they could literally do at home. We call it dryland training, which is the way you train for swimming outside of the pool that you can do in your house. We filmed hundreds of new videos. We put that all in the app. We launched this very fast. So shout out to our team because we were able to just grind and actually put all that stuff together. It slowed the bleeding, but we were still bleeding subscribers, right? So it was still catastrophic, but it was enough to get us to the other side.
Looks like my swim pro made it through COVID, but a close call. Okay, let's pivot a little bit into growth. Faraz has a big follow on YouTube. What's the purpose of that?
The reason why I started making YouTube videos was not to be like a YouTube personality or anything. It really started because a lot of people would ask me the same questions over and over. And I had this, macro email I would send out through email, WhatsApp. I'd answer the same questions. And I realized, I could just do this a lot better in a video format. So let me go to a whiteboard. Let me write out this one topic and let me create a video and put it on YouTube. This was back in 2018 when I started to do this regularly. And it became a weekly series called Whiteboard Wednesday, where I stand in front of a whiteboard and I just talk about some swimming thing, which is really ironic because, when people see I do YouTube and they realize that my most popular videos that have millions of views are me standing in front of a whiteboard for swimming. I'm not even at a swimming pool. I'm wearing this exact t-shirt and I'm just explaining some concept with like math and adding the science element. It's sort of like professor in school. And if you're on a swim team, you kind of get used to that, having a coach in front of a whiteboard. But for our audience and for most of the world, they don't have a coach. So I'm essentially their virtual coach on YouTube. And so that compounded over time. And now it's a pretty big offering on the internet where if you Google or YouTube anything swimming related, I'm probably going to pop up.
Yes, Faraz has done incredibly well on YouTube. Now, how did that help your app?
So that helps not only educate the swimming market, which is what we want to do, but also helps drive traffic to our app, which is now one of our bigger sources of acquisition. I would say about a third of our downloads right now are coming either directly from a YouTube video. Someone has watched me explain something about swimming and they find out about the app, or they've seen multiple videos over time. And then when they're going to the App Store, they download it and they kind of make that association because it's coming from the same source.
Basically, Faraz has built a brand on YouTube, and that really helps the app. Okay, so about 1/3 of the app downloads from YouTube, but where does the rest come from?
A lot of it actually just comes organically through App Store search. So even if they're not searching in YouTube or Google for swim, if you go to the App Store and you type in swim, I would say that's the rest of it. It's word of mouth or organic traffic. People are just searching for a swimming app and we pop up.
Although Faraz says 1/3 of the downloads come from YouTube, he might just be underestimating that number. The thing is that the traffic that he generates from YouTube drives up his credibility in the App Store and on Google Play, as well as on Google, which means a lot more people are exposed to his app. He just ranks higher everywhere because of the YouTube traffic. Okay, we had a good look at My Swim Pro. Let's get some advice out there. What should people that are building an app do right now?
You just got to get started. I talked to so many people who have an idea for an app or they've been building it. I just talked to someone literally yesterday. He's been working on an app for 7 years.
7 years? Come on. 7 weeks, yes. 7 months, maybe. You just have to get out there. You only start learning when you go out there.
If you already have an app out there, like talk to people who are using it, make it better. What are you doing? Like your number one job should be to make the product better for the people using it.
Get the MVP out there and start listening to the people that use it. Simple as that. Just do it.
And the time from testing the 4 ideas to actually having an app in the App Store was about a month. And so I think when you compare that to what I know a lot of other people do, they spend 3 months, 6 months, a year. What is the most elemental thing that you can create and ship that and try and add as much value to that as possible rather than build it all up front and then ship it.
So what's next for you? Can you go bigger, grow faster?
It's humbling when I go to the pool and, maybe someone recognizes me or they've heard of my swim pro, but most people have not. So if you go outside of the immediate swimming bubble of the hardcore swim fans and the nerds who are paying attention to the Olympics, for the rest of the market, people are swimming, they're doing their thing, and we're not helping them. So I think there is a massive opportunity, and that's really our next stage of growth is, okay, we have a great product. We want to continue to improve it, expand our personas that we can help, and then how do we 2x, 3x, 5x our daily downloads. So that way it's not 2 million, it's 5, 10, 20 million downloads.
This is a great way to build an app. You find the people that want it most first, then you build on those people and go mainstream from there. In this case, mainstream swimmers, and there are a lot of swimmers out there. If you want more content just like this, please consider pressing like and subscribe, and you won't miss any future videos. Thank you very much for watching Raw Startup. Now stop watching, go build something.